The following program contains tobacco smoking, potty mouth language, discussions of fictitious violence, a few things that may send some people spiraling into a place of emotional triggers, although we're mainly talking about fun things like playing games. With all that said, viewer discretion is advised. Did you really have to go there? Well, yeah, just trying to be honest. Anyway, we should really start this music, huh? Yeah, we should. So why aren't you starting it? Because, yeah, we haven't. Oh, okay. Well, let's get it started. Yeah, let's do that. Well, hello everyone. Hello. How's it going out there? I am Solar Gray, the cinematic sorcerer, coming at you from the Wizard's Tower. And welcome to the dark side of the room. Now, I am broadcasting literally as much as my schedule is allowing me to. But I'm happy to see that people are here. People are showing up. What's going on? How's it going? What is the word? How you doing? Let me say hello. Guten Abend. Guten and all those other Guten things. Because, that's the whole thing. Now, hang on. Where's my chat? Oh, there is my chat. Woohoo! Yeah, let's make sure that the chat is right here. All right. As you can see, I did some fixing on my lighting. I did some other stuff. I'm like, oh my God, I just got so many things that I have to do and take care of, and all of this stuff. But now that we're here, now that I've gone through an hour of finding out that the whole studio computer has gone, yeah, no, I'm not going to do this right now. Nope. I'm going to, and I'm like, no, you're going, I don't care if I got to restart you and, so, but that's okay. We're here. We got some stuff to talk about. I've also got a couple of other things, but that being the case, if you guys have any questions or comments or anything like that, then feel free to send a message to backinthedeck at gmail.com. That's BACKINTHEDECK at gmail.com. You can also reach out to me over on Instagram. All right. I'll be getting a blue sky a little bit later, but it is coming. All right. That part I can definitely tell you it's on its way. It's doing the thing. So many different social media things that we got to do, and there's so many things involved with setting up new emails and all that other jazz. It's long, it's arduous, but that's okay. We'll get it all done. And of course, if you are part of Facebook, that wretched hive of scum and villainy, you can always reach out on Deckers on the Book. All right, that is something that you guys can do, and we got all that stuff going. So, with all that being said, let us get to the show. Now, first off, I definitely, and I mean this, I definitely want to thank you guys. All right, I want to thank you guys for bearing with me. I want to thank you guys for seriously hanging on, being deckers, all that other stuff. All right. I know I'm really difficult to get on, but I'm also really happy that I'm back doing this, and I've got some other stuff going. Now, if you guys don't know, I have been working on a lot of stuff, and I mean a lot of stuff over the past few years. Mainly, um, the back in the mainly the back in the deck terrain that I've been trying to get right, and the formula is almost there. Okay, we are so close. We are like inches away from being there, and I'm super super excited. As a matter of fact, um, we'll have the footage and the commercial and all that stuff ready pretty much by the next time we'll be able to broadcast. Okay, so that is going to be a real big one. Okay, by the next time we're ready to broadcast, it will be there and we will be happy and all of those things. So, yeah, we got so much going on. But I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit today. Okay, cool, it's up. Now I can share it and get more people in here. I wanted to talk to you guys today about something really, really big and something that I've really been thinking about. Okay. So as it stands, I know a lot of people who play games, a lot of, now with a lot of people I know that play games, a lot of them are, real talk, some serious grognards. Okay, we're talking old heads who are set in their ways and all of that stuff. There is so much to it. However, y'all know I am all about building community. I'm all about um opening doors. You know, someone once called me the opposite of a gatekeeper. All right. And I'm like, yeah, gates? No, I'm kicking those things down. I am so done with gatekeepers and people that close up doors to say, no, you can't come in. I'm not like that. All right. Except to jerks. I don't like jerks. I don't like jerky people. Okay. I really don't. I'm not a big fan of jerky people. You know, and don't start on me with this whole paradox of tolerance thing. All right. I have been fighting against it and kind of living under it for a good amount of my adult life. So anyway, um, but I recently, in creating product this weekend, I got to get together with the Brain Trust and be like, so what else is going on? Hang on, send that separately. And now, excuse me. And sure enough, I wanted to talk to some of my really close friends about playing games, types of games. Now, understand, when I say a lot of my friends are grognards and stuff like that, I mean it in a loving way. Most of my friends are old heads. All right, I'm talking. We are the dudes that have been we're the dudes that have been playing D&D since the 70s. Um, and one of the things about gamers, just in general, okay, a lot of gamers in general, we get involved in these hobbies. I don't care if they're D&D, or sorry, I don't care if they're role-playing games, tabletop miniatures games, historical recreations, board games, card games, all right? And to a certain point, video games. Just whatever hobbies revolve around playing games, rolling dice. One of the major things that it has, that they all have in common, is sometimes there's a huge need for solitude. Okay. What do I mean? Well, you want to play D&D? Cool. Let's get together and play D&D. But when you really get into D&D, what do? You buy a book. All right. You buy a D&D book and you start reading the D&D book. What's going on, Zen? All right. I had to make absolutely sure I sent you the links because right there, you're one of the real ones. So yeah, you get your D&D book and you pour over the rules. It's your toilet reading. It's your it's your lunchtime reading when you're at school or work, but really you're reading, okay? And most of the time reading is silent. And I have a lot of friends who can be in the same room with someone and count that as company. I'm not that guy, but I understand where they come from. Yeah, actually, I did a lot of revamping in the studio. I didn't like how oversaturated I was looking, and I didn't like how my sound was coming through. So, in my time off, I'm like, nah, I'm gonna get this right. Especially since I saw an old message that I sent when stuff looked like this. So that's what I did, Zan. Um, as I was saying, there's a lot of solitude that's involved. All right. And when you're sitting up and you're reading, say, a textbook for 40K or D&D or Call of Cthulhu or War Machine, whatever it is that you're watching or reading, it doesn't really, what's the term? It doesn't really require interaction with another person. Okay. So, what this does when you really get into it is foster an environment that's really good for introverts. Okay. And when introverts get together and they do stuff, they don't really get together. It's one of my favorite comedians talked about politics, and he's like, no, I'm part of the people who hate people party. You know, it's like, hey, the people who hate people party. You want to come to one of our meetings? Are you going to be there? Yeah, then I'm not fucking going. Great, this is what I mean. You're our strongest member. You know, but one of the biggest battle in gaming is when do you set aside time? You know, because as you get older, well, let's go way back to when most people start playing games. All right. Now, some folks are super lucky, to grow up in a house where you have like a gaming night with the family. You know, it's like, nope, Thursdays, whole family gets around the table and we play Life or Settlers of Catan or Monopoly or Risk or Axis and Allies or, you know, just Twilight Imperium. Ooh, boy, am I dating myself. And that kind of fosters that kind of community and that kind of thing. But a lot of folks who get into games are generally kind of a loner kid, if you will. You know, the loner kids. Back in my days, we were called nerds. You know, yeah, that was the whole thing. And that was something that I wore with a badge of pride because I was watching the wrong movies at the time. Hey, what's going on, Dorothea? So what do we do? You know, well, we get our gaming groups, you know, we congregate at the lunch table at school, maybe go to the local gaming store or gaming club. Of course, I'm talking about the 80s and 90s, all right? Y'all know what that's like. But then 9/11 happened. And along with 9/11 came the rise of internet communications culture. Okay, I mean, there were always BBSs, or not always, but from the mid 80s to America Online, there were bulletin boards and mail order chess games, you know, that kind of thing. Um, but again, this required a lot of solitude because the people that we were playing with weren't physically there. Or if they were physically there, we'd have one little place carved out, a community center. Most of the time, it was Mike's house, you know, because Mike had a basement. Yeah, they might not have been named Mike, but you know who I'm talking about, especially if you're in the Midwest. All right. Mine was Bill. And, you know, but from there, you built your little cadre, you know, your little gaming group, your tiny little game circles, until you found a little girl that had been stuck underground from a secret government facility who had telekinetics. But that was your gaming group, you know? Um, and then you gamed with people, but then other stuff happened. And the show Stranger Things that I referenced in case you guys don't have Netflix, um, really showed some of the stuff that happened. Okay. Um, which was the rise of the video game arcade, where we would go in a very darkly lit room in the mall or at the strip mall, or in my case, the liquor store around the corner, and we'd crowd in around a bunch of petri dishes that we called our peers in these dark, moist, humid, really sticky places, gathering around one machine, watching one dude try and unlock the secret character in whatever video game was hot at the time, be it Pac-Man or Punch-Out or Street Fighter or Karate Champ, you know. And that didn't really give us a whole lot of game time. We didn't actually, yeah, that was our gaming, especially if, like me, you grew up in the 80s and your parents liked having a clean house, so they would get the house clean and then say, "Hey, you're a child, go outside. Go, no, go play. Be back when the street lights come on, maybe. I don't know. I'll be asleep because I work graveyard shift, but go outside. Go outside with your adolescent hormone-fueled stank and your messed up clothes that you're going to rub all over my sofa while you're emptying out my fridge. Just get out of my house. Go play with your friends. Go play pretend in the park, or ride your bikes, or do whatever it is that you do. Stay out of my house. I'm trying to get everything clean. All right, cool. I'm done. Okay. All right, cool. But then more time passes. You end up going to high school, and then sometimes college, and then you end up getting significant others and having kids and buying houses and working 1,005 hours a week for a boss that doesn't pay you a third of what you're worth. Give me a thumbs up if you know what I'm talking about. Can I get an amen? Ha ha! Ha! Working for nothing! Ha! Working for nothing! Ha ha! What's going on, Geeky Andre? I'm glad that you're here. And then you want to get together with your games. And all of a sudden, that song, like, hey, man, I'm thinking about running a one-shot D&D game, or you want to get together and maybe play a 1,500-point game of Warhammer, and all of a sudden a guitar starts playing, and your friend gets a better voice than they normally had, and they're like, "I'd love to, man, but the new job's a hassle and the kids got the flu, but it's sure nice talking to you, brah. It's sure nice talking to you. And the cat's in the cradle and the games are shelved. Lots of bookstore and miniature hell." I mean, that's really what comes down. So how do we get this? You got to make the time to make the time to get together with your friends, and then comes scheduling. Oh, scheduling hell. And again, everything I'm talking about right now is if you and your buddies are in an environment conducive to playing these games. What do I mean? I'm talking about the people around you and your friends. Because a lot of times your significant other might not be down with you going and hanging out with 5 of your friends to play D&D, or, might not be down with you getting together for 5 or 6 hours with somebody. I mean, it's a thing. It's a real thing, because the world is in chaos. Gaia, the spirit of the earth, sent out 5 rings that we're hoping gets in the right kids. But what is heart? I still don't know what heart is. Anyway, so it comes down to making time to make time. Hey, what is going on? Who do we got? Team Blackout Drunk, who evidently knows me. What's going on, Team Blackout? You're not going to remember this episode, but you should remember to subscribe with your Amazon Prime gaming account, because, well, I've got a lot to do, and we do a lot of funding of the stuff that we make and produce here. Hey, Mike. All right, that Blackout Drunk, one of the original Deckers back from the 90s, all right? And now, this Mike didn't have the basement, but he had the really cool garage. Not as cool as the one I lived in, but the really cool garage. The one I lived in had a band. See, I was the bass player of that band. But yeah. Anyway, so Mm. So yeah, making time to make time, especially when you're drowning in miniatures, you got all this stuff, and you're looking at your collection and you're like, I want to play this stuff again in the future, and I don't want to throw it away because I spent so many years and so much money over so many years. It's like the shelf is staring at you, and all that nostalgia is going, remember those good times when you were young? Remember that? You'd love to have that again. And it either sits around giving you the eye, you know the eye, the come on, babe. You know you're going to look through Planescape again. Come on. Remember the Lady of Pain? Remember all the fun we had with the Lady of Pain? Remember the first time you met the Demogorgon? Yeah, you remember that. You were all down with that, weren't you? I remember you wearing your pointed ears and your cloak as you were standing at the bus stop in the middle of a bad neighborhood during the LA riots. Remember all those times, girl? Yeah, yeah. You don't want to throw that in the garbage. So what do? You start going through that stuff again. However, these are parts of the battles. All right? So what are we going to do? What do we do with all that stuff? Do we look at them going, no, you were bad for me when I was 16 years old. You got me through a hard time, but I can't spend my time in a fantasy world. Or, you know, oh, wait, I should send this out one more time. You know, or even beyond spending your time in the fantasy world, okay? You really, and I mean for real, can't spend a whole lot of your time. Yeah, Planescape. Planescape can say me a you up? Hey, hey, you up? I know you up. You want to know what's shaped like a donut? My physics. It's 12:30 in the morning and your girlfriend is like, yeah, exactly. Then you sit up going, why not? Why not? Let me see if I can get a Planescape game going, and you might be able to gather up the boys. You gather up the boys and up going, we're going to ride one more time. And your boys are like, yeah, that's cool as long as we're back by 9 o'clock because I get tired. And, I got the sciatica that's going. It's like, oh, man, come on. You don't need to go through all that. Like, no, really, man. You get the other guy in the campaign going, no, man, this is serious. Like, do you stretch a lot? Is it like your L23? Like, oh man, no, that's my L5, man. Oh man, yeah, that whole thing. And it's a different kind of thing. So how do we get past it? Well, one of the things that jumped out at me for this particular battle in modern gaming, okay, is something that I grew up watching and I didn't realize exactly what I was looking at. All right. See, when I was a kid, there were a lot of cartoons on, and I'm talking regular TV, but it was appointment TV, but the appointment was air a day. Like you get out of school, and then from when you were at school till the sun went down, they were on. We were rushing home so that we could hear the guitar riff of, followed by, womp, 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 wah, wah, and we got our superhero fix. But one of the shows from even before then, because I'm ancient, was a little show called The Flintstones. And it was about working class family and their neighbors, and they would work all day in the rock quarry, riding dinosaurs, picking up rocks. But two of the four main characters, the male ones, Fred and Barney, had two major things. They had their Buffalo Lodge and they had their bowling league. Y'all know what I'm talking about? All right. And I'm like, wait a second. I know one or two people in a bowling league and they get together with their bowling friends once a week after work and they go bowling and they drink their beers and their significant others are like, yo, that's your bowling league. I know John, Ron, Barney, and Pat. Yeah, that's fine. Go bowling. Do your thing. And the point that pushed across to me, yeah, the third space, the point that pushed across to me was adults used to and still carve out time for the things they need as long as it's organized and regulated, you know? Oh, Geeky Andrea is like, I'm ready for it, adventures. But I gotta get home by 8. You know, yeah, exactly. You know, that's kind of a thing. You know. However, um, there are lots of gaming stores and community centers, and sometimes even a church. Even a church if you ain't good with the pastor. Um, our boy Mad Wookie, rest in power, um, had put together his gaming group at the Presbyterian church that he was a part of, and the pastor even joined the church. This was where we had the Amazing Grace Comic Con, and the pastor was like, "Oh no, I'm down with playing with your little toy soldiers and all that stuff." And they got together and they painted and they had community and fellowship. And one of the biggest places that are friendly to the store here, um friendly to Back in the Deck, is Guildhouse Games, which has one of the greatest gaming communities I've actually seen that I didn't build myself. I'm like, I love these guys. Love them. You know. And there are lots and lots of tools to do kind of a group, I mean, a lot of folks have book club and things like that, and there's no reason, seriously, no reason that you can't really have that for gaming, okay? But what are some of the formats? Let's put some of this down. Now, at one of my friend's jobs, they have a slow grow league for the current video or the current miniatures game. I know they had one for War Machine. They had one for Star Wars Legion. I think they have one for Shatterpoint. There's a lot of stuff out there. And slow grow leagues are really cool for working adults that have kids because they essentially start with a starter set, like a skirmish set. All right. Let's take a game like Marvel Crisis Protocol. That starter kit is $100 or $100 and something. I don't know. Let's look. Marvel Crisis Protocol. Great miniatures games. You got the Avengers. Always we will fight as one. Because I don't want to get sued by the Marvel copyright people for using the theme from the movies. Let's see. Marvel Crisis Protocol. Core set. Yeah. No, I just want the core set. Amazon. Oh, that's the old one. What's the new one? Well, still, the old one, still there. Currently, okay? Whoa, not that. Yeah. Currently, you can pick up Marvel Crisis Protocol, the core set of the game, for $80. And $80 is not bad for a starter kit. All right. This gets your miniature fetish going, your all that jazz from Atomic Mass Games. And these guys are actually pretty cool. Okay. I have a copy. I think it's really fun. And with $80, any working adult can afford that. I can muster up $80, and that says a whole lot considering I look at my gas tank going, I don't think I can go to open mic tonight. But if you have like a league, a group or something like that, a group of 5 or 6 folks that you get together with once a week or twice a month, okay? Or even once a month. Y'all split that cost, paint your favorite Avenger and your favorite member of the Cabal, and you've got your thing, and you can get together and have that fellowship and have that community. And this is what's important, away from your standard people, away from your family, away from your kids, somewhere to blow off steam so that when you get home, Yeah, the dreaded gas tank. Yeah, so when you get home, you're recharged, you're rejuvenated. That thing that's like you rejuvenated before, lost it, and got juvenated again. Rejuvenated. Uh, I don't know what is wrong with me today. Actually, I do. I have not had enough good coffee. So, there we go. So, that is one solution. All right. Creating a league and scheduling the time. Now, a lot of people would be like, yeah, we could probably get together on weekends. And what I will tell you, as the guy in the position that I'm sitting in currently, all right, weekends, not great. Not when you are an adult over 30. Okay. But solar, weekends are the days that I don't have to work. Uh huh. Yeah, that's exactly why. All right. Um, if you are the average adult, I'm looking at you, Kentaro. I'm looking at you, Zan. I'm looking at you, blackout drunk. All right. That means you got kids, you got bills, you got a house to clean up, and quite honestly, all right, if you've got significant others, kids, pets, or somewhere that you live, the weekends are reserved for deep cleaning, laundry. Okay. And when I say laundry, I don't just mean, oh, what am I wearing to work today? I'm talking about washing them sheets, y'all. Washing the bedding. Um, all that other stuff that you can't do during the week because by the time you get home from work, you are done. Okay. The most you'll be able to do is wash your dishes after eating dinner and maybe watching something on Netflix. And let's be real, chances are it's going to be something that the kids are already watching, which is why most parents 5 to 10 years younger than me know every episode of SpongeBob SquarePants, and why people like me still cry when we watch The Owl House. Home to clean up is one of the reasons I like hosting game sessions. It motivates me to keep on top of the housework. Bruh, I don't I know what it is because from Generation X on, it was you're not cleaning up for your health. You better clean this place up because we got company coming. The satisfaction of sitting in a clean house was kind of lost on us for a while. I ain't gonna lie. So anyhow, so a Thursday night, like today is Tuesday, and in my illustrious city of Los Angeles, or should I say the county next to my illustrious city of Los Angeles, tonight is when the lightsaber cosplay groups actually get together and do their thing. Why? Because they can go straight after work. They haven't been killed by the traffic driving home, and they're capable of still socially interacting. And then when they get home, they can hug the kids, pet the dog, eat the dinner, wash their plates, and then go to bed. Okay? To go back to work tomorrow with something else. Oh. Oh my God, you are a real one, Zan. Either we got company or please don't tell anybody how I live. Yeah, it's one of the reasons I don't get a lot of company. I'm like, yeah, you don't want to come over right now. Ugh, yeah, I saw how you reacted when we were at that restaurant that one time. You don't want to come over. So it's honestly like a real thing. Although childproofing my house has been an adventure since Captain Scraps came by. Yeah, just got to work it around my bowling night. Yeah, exactly. See, you've got the bowling night. And that's exactly what I'm talking about. You can have a bowling night or a gaming night or that kind of things. But weekends, let's face it, if you are an adult over 35 years old, your weekends are not your weekends. They belong to the rest of your life that you put on hold during the week because the new job's a hassle. And when the kids got the flu, that's the time that you make up your time with the kids, So let's be real about that. But a Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday night, those are good nights to get together with your folks to do some kind of gaming thing, you know? Um, but let's see, what is the second thing? Now, when I brainstormed today's episode, um, oh, so you mean your kids are old enough to live with you? Because the kids always get the blame for how messed up the house was. Side note, I think I was 38 years old when my mom and I laughed over a steak and a cup of coffee, and she said, "Yeah, I owe you an apology." And I'm like, "You owe me many, but what's that for?" And she was like, "Yep, I sharpened that stick. I know how it pokes. But all those years, I thought y'all were the ones messing up the house, but then all y'all moved out, and it was just me by myself, and my house looked terrible. And then I realized, oh no, it was me." And I said, "One thing about living alone, Mom, is you find out that you are a terrible roommate. You really are." Some folks have been asking, "Are you going to move anyone into the house with you?" And I'm like, "I'm not going to do that to anybody, but thank you." Because, yeah, I am horrible to live with. I really am. And as I've lived by myself, I've gotten worse. Um, you know, and let's face it, you don't want to pay $1,100 a month to know that your roommate might run out of his room wearing a loincloth and one sock going, "Oh my God, my coffee!" What? I'm real with you guys. I don't have an online persona. I probably need one. Um, but one of the other things that I found, okay, um, well, let's just get to this one really big, is gaming trauma. Okay. Why, Solar, I don't like the word trauma. Why ever would you use that word? And whatever could it mean? Well, let's talk about what gaming trauma could look like. All right. Um, you're young and you join the only game in town, but it turns out that game is run by that guy. You know that guy. That guy that has one solution to a problem. That guy that kills any imagination. That guy that tells you how to play your character. You know, that guy. And if that is actually one of your early, early experiences in gaming, that could shade all of your gaming experiences. Okay? Now, I'm not going to lie. I started this whole company because of my gaming trauma. All right? I really did. I've been in so many games where a lot of older gamers literally did not want to interact with someone who had never done their pastime before. Um, I interacted with folks where, as I was making discoveries about something, they would take those discoveries and just shoot them all the way down. Hell, I was talking to my therapist today about how I still have a hard time recognizing what's good, you know, because growing up in the 80s and 90s, I was surrounded by people that told me everything I did sucked because they were pushing me to make me better. When in reality, a good amount of them were just that guy. You know that guy. And this has brought up a lot of gaming trauma with a lot of people. I know a couple of folks that are just like, I had a bad GM that didn't let me play the game and didn't teach me how to do it, so I don't ever want to play D&D ever again. I know someone else who walked into the same Warhammer store. It was a Games Workshop back in those days. That essentially showed racism and blocked me out. And they looked at her and said, "Girls don't play Warhammer." And she's like, "You know what? You're right." And to this day, and again, this particular incident happened, I think, in 2003. All right. Um, and she refuses to play Warhammer to this day. You know, face green smiling. Okay. I hope you're not sick. I don't speak emoji very well, like seriously. I was 6 months younger than I am today before I found out what a peach emoji meant. I thought it was for a piece of fruit. But anyhow, um, what was I saying? So, a lot of people have had bad experiences. One of our deepest, one of our deepest deckers has a whole lot of game trauma because most of the people that ever teaches her how to play a game actually plays her. Oh, thank you, Neon. Only teaches her enough of the game so that they could beat her and feel good about herself. So now to this day, even when I'm teaching her stuff, I'm doing abs. I know what the eggplant means and I know why, okay? And if you don't, take an eggplant and a dough roller, a rolling pin. Use the rolling pin on the eggplant for a little bit and then poke a hole in the edge, and you'll realize why an eggplant was used. But the peach, yeah, I'm like, what, a peach? Oh, okay. Uh, but yeah, you know some, you don't know some. I don't know everything. Um, but where was I? Oh yeah. So every time I teach her how to play a game, she's like, and I'm like, no, ask me questions. Especially since my style of teaching is I'm going to teach you how to win against me in your first two, three, four games. Just so that you understand the rules and all that stuff, because I'm a teacher, which means I've cultivated the skill set in making sure that someone can learn. And hopefully that they're excited about learning. I think that's one of the reasons you guys tune in. I don't know. If you do, give me a subscribe. That'd be kind of cool. Um, but a lot of gaming trauma is rooted deeply, not just in games, but in personal trauma. Okay? One of my very close friends and former student had that guy as dad. And dad didn't care whether or not she wanted to learn how to play games. She was going to learn how to play games. So she never learned to have fun with them. Okay? And even to this day, she doesn't like to play games because it makes her flash back to her father's terrible behavior. All right? Now, we as Deckers have a certain level of duty. Okay? And the duty, I'm really trying. The duty that we have on that is to understand that, yeah, a lot of people have been traumatized by hyper competitive folks, by bad sports. Um, and let's be real, because y'all are here. Racism, sexism, or misogyny, rather. Classism. That was one that really got me. I'm still working my way through a lot of that today. A lot of folks, and what do you mean classism, Solar? What? We like playing games. We like having hobbies. Yeah, but I do these things and I have these hobbies as a matter of will, not as a matter of culture. I come from a culture where everything is about trying to survive and trying to make sure that that other guy that's trying to survive isn't trying to survive by throwing you at the zombie. you know, yeah. Because you don't have to be the fastest. You just got to be. You don't have to be faster than the bear. You just got to be faster than the other guy running from the bear. And a lot of folks, from a lot of different cultures, like to trip people up, just to make sure that they are that kind of faster. And it's sad, and I'm working to change that. However, um, you know what? I'm gonna give you a pass on that one, Neon, because as soon as I said bear, you could have gone to three or four other places off the top of my head. Anyway, Should I say outrun the jackal? Yeah, that's it. The jackal. Yeah. Um so man, you guys are on it today. It is so good to be back. On the subject of emojis, let's check this out real quick. I'm at I'm at Central for brunch with the girls, and they have a new sandwich on the menu: a pita with a fried eggplant and tahini. Ooh, no way! Yeah, what are the chances? Well, I'll let you know what I think of it. Although I have to let you decide how it stacks up to what you had back home. It will cost around 70 cents in Egypt, though if you get a sandwich from a local shop, yeah, if you do, send me a pic. Will do. Yeah. Yeah, I'll send you a pic of the eggplant and tahini. You know. Um, but as I was saying, um, we have a lot of that stuff. Praise tahini. Yeah, tahini is fire. Not gonna lie. I do like me tahini, although I'm also very much a hummus guy. I like myself some hummus. It's so pikey. I love that. Although I did see one of the greatest BLTs ever. It never occurred to me to put fried green tomatoes on a BLT, but bruh. Anyway, um, before we hop into the territory of food corn, um, so dealing with game trauma can be a serious, serious thing. I know a lot of folks, okay, a lot of folks that have a problem with playing games because they grew up in a very competitive place, or a lot of people were like, "Oh my god, um the only way to have fun is to win." But in two-player games, there's a winner and a loser. And if nobody wants to be the loser, matter of fact, if they have to deal with a lot of folks, I was going to ask, who's making hummus without tahini? Yep, like I said, that's why I'm a tahini guy, okay? Um, because, me, hummus, all that stuff. Yeah, again, just so pikey. I love that. Um, so what do we do? And honestly, there is no quick solution. There's no easy fix to people's game trauma. The older they are, the longer they've been harboring it. Um, you know, growing up in the 80s and 90s, all right? And if you guys aren't that old, think about what I'm saying as context for dealing with the older people in your life, all right? But growing up in the 80s and 90s, we were brought up with a lot of paradoxes. Like, it doesn't matter whether you win or lose, it's just do your best in playing the game. It's what we were told. The unspoken part was, but don't lose, you know? It's like, well, you did your best and your best wasn't good enough. I mean, that's a lot of the stuff that we grew up with, you know? And going into adulthood, and oh god, those poor athletes, who trained and trained and trained. And I've talked about the difference between athletes and gamers, okay? Um and I'm just gonna give you guys the too long didn't read thing. Um Athletes are paid, or looking to be paid, top dollar for playing a game. I mean, really, what it comes down to, it's you play baseball in the park. You get a pickup basketball game. Maybe you play some football with your friends at a picnic or at a family reunion. All right, those are playing games. But then there's the NFL and the NCAA and the NBA and the NHL. Um, and on that front, a lot of people think if it's a game, I have to approach it like a sport. Okay? And that's odd. Well, not odd. It doesn't serve well with a lot of the stuff that we do here. You know, yeah, you've got the miniature wargaming, and don't get me wrong, Math Hammer is real, you know. However, one of the lines that I kind of put on that, and this is to help my friends through some of their game trauma, because it's a long and slow process. It's, we're not playing for money. I mean, it's really that simple. Who you are as a person does not weigh on whether or not you win this game. It's just, let's play. Let us enjoy the act of doing something versus pushing ourselves to the limit to achieve the optimized result. Okay? And as you guys know, I like playing games. Okay, I like rolling the dice. I like doing the pew-pews. I like making the funny voices and doing all the impressions. I am a child at heart. Okay? But when it comes down to that, when it comes down to the level of playing games, I enjoy the act of playing. Win, lose, draw, I get to take out my little action figures and play out a bunch of 80s commercials. All right. Matter of fact, I'm going to pull up an 80s commercial or two. All right. To show you guys what I'm talking about. Because, you know, if you guys are younger than me, you didn't grow up in the golden time of the 1980s. Where every cartoon was a toy commercial and every toy commercial was awesome. Okay? And when I say awesome, I mean like for real, these commercials literally made it so that you wanted to buy this toy. And when you bought the toy, it was always disappointing. You know, and I didn't know why, but that's kind of the reason I got into tabletop miniature gaming as an adult, because I'm like, oh my God, it's like playing with toys. It's like all those damn commercials when I was growing up, you know? Yeah, so let's take a look here. Yeah, let's see if we can find some of the good stuff. Oh yeah, that's some of the good stuff. That's some of the good stuff, right? Yeah. Got some of that good stuff. So yeah, and you would pull up and you'd be like, yeah, wherever there's trouble. So, you know, yeah. I mean, we got this, and it's like, wow, look at the gun and a little gun, and see, they're climbing all over rocks, and they got the set, and they got the vines, you know, and they're going all over this whole thing. And you know, but really that's all you're getting, you know. Or, you know, you get, you know, they always open with the cartoons, you know, you get the 80s things going. Let's see here. Yeah, you get the 80s stuff going. And then they start showing the toys, and you're like, oh, what are they showing me here? I deigned to question. And there you go. It got all the snow stuff going and all that. But really, all right, really, I mean, that was Hasbro, right? Hasbro with G.I. Joe. But the real stuff, the stuff that made you go, I need those toys, you know? You know, the stuff that really put that stuff out there. There we go. You know, we ended up with this, you know. Man, got the Castle Grayskull playset, and, you know, that's pretty much a boring room with a table, right? You know, but the camera zooms in, and you got the big old thing, and you're going, yeah, all right, I want to do all that stuff, and you got Dad playing with them, you know, and oh my God, you know, seriously, every kid wanted all this stuff. But yeah, but when you were a kid like me, way back in the day, I may as well play this up, you know. But yeah, I mean, you had the stuff set up, you got all the fights going. But if you notice, it's a really dark basement. Really dark basements and stuff. But and the background is blurred. But look at that. Look at all that stuff. You've got the building setups and all of that jazz coming out. And sure enough, you'd get the toy and that was not the thing. But when I sit down with my tabletop miniatures, that's what I feel like, especially when I'm on these sets. What's going on? Let me wink. 312. Yeah, no, we're talking about games and how to get more people into games, how to make time. And you popped in while we were talking about gaming trauma and some of the ways through it. All right. So when I sit down to play Warhammer or War Machine or One Page Rules or Marvel Crisis Protocol or the DC Miniatures Universe game or Stargrave or Frostgrave or Rangers Shadow Deep or Gaslands, yeah, I play a lot of miniature games. Gaslands is a big one because you really get to use Hot Wheels, bruh. You got the Hot Wheels. And again, when you're growing up, like I grew up, all right? Yeah. There you go. I mean, when you grew up like I grew up in the 80s and the 90s, here we go. Yeah, the Speed Shift 500. When you grew up with the stuff that I grew up with on that level, this is what you got. Oh, sorry about that, guys. Like you get the whole track going. And no, my family isn't on premium. Shut up. And you get like the elaborate sets and you're driving through and you get the whole imagination thing going. And is that what you got when you were a kid? No, you got some cars. So that's the place that my head goes when I start playing with my tabletop minis, yeah. You just really want to hear me yell that, don't you, Zan? And some people could be using, some folks could be using headphones right now. But believe me, I got caught up in the crossfire. Never could afford that toy, but I wanted it. And now, pushing 50, I can have all the toys. And much like when I was a child with all of my origami, thanks to Reading Rainbow, I still make all my toys. But a lot of people that play games, I don't care if it's Warhammer, D&D, any of the myriad of games that I just rattled off at the top of my head, and yes, I play them all. I don't care what game they're playing. They approach the game like an athlete. Because you have to win, Andrew. You have to win. And next thing you know, they're taking the smallest gamer in the group and duct taping their butts closed, and it's just terrible. All right. It's just terrible. But that's the trauma that they grew up with. So how do we get past that? Well, as the senior gamer saying, you know what? I think you might enjoy this particular thing. It's a matter of setting a space. Yeah, that's right. Talk to the neighbor's dog, Scraps. It's a matter of setting the space to let folks know, seriously, I want you to enjoy playing this game. I am not here to beat you. And when I'm teaching a gaming session, and once I get more folks on the show, we will be going through game instructions and tutorial. Well, I am filming a few tutorials for a few games right now. One of the reasons I've been gone for so long. And those are going to be for the Patreon. But one of the other Patreon things are the Let's Learn How to Play. And I sit down with new players from all over Southern California to teach them how to play games they haven't played before. You know? Um, Wait, what do we got, Andre? Oh, Thunder. You know what? Just because you guys put stuff in all caps does not mean I'm going to spend my time yelling. I still have neighbors. um, no, not dim the. No, no, no. I don't know what games you're teaching Neon, but next time, could you let me know? I'd love to come down and, you know, learn some of your techniques for teaching. Dimming the lights, putting on some candles, putting on some Isaac Hayes. Where you do? What you doing? Where you at? You got plans, and don't say that. Shut your mouth. But yeah. If I say I'm gonna come down and teach you how to play Gaslands, I do not want somebody putting on "I'll leave the door open." Not that I'm against it. It's just when I'm gonna teach a game mode. That's hyper focus. That's where I am. Because I'm not neurotypical. Anyhow, but setting up the space, being like, nah, dude, go for it. Tell them this. I recently got a chance. What if they bring a burrito? That all depends. If it's carne asada or al pastor, okay, maybe they can leave the door open. But if it's a chicken burrito, nah, son. Yeah, lock the door. But yeah, as I was saying, I got to teach someone the DC miniatures game. And we did so crossing one of the other thresholds or the difficulty in modern gaming, which is distance. This person lives in Wisconsin. I live in Los Angeles. It's not like we're going to get on a gaming table. And stop typing. Stop typing, okay? I know about Tabletop Simulator, all right? I also know about Roll20. I know there are tools and stuff out there, and we will get to those, all right? However, I don't know how to use Tabletop Simulator. And there are lots of folks that say they can teach me, but the time is never made. So I still don't know how to use Tabletop Simulator. However, has this just turned into the food stream? We were talking about tahini and then hummus, and then I had to bring up the bacon, lettuce, and fried green tomato sandwich. Now we're talking about carne asada with nopales. Yeah, y'all would have killed for the mac and cheese I helped some friends make for Thanksgiving. Anyhow, we both had a Roll20 account, and they had the cards for the figures they needed. We made up tokens, and I taught them how to play using the Roll20 system. And they're hooked. They're into it because the next part of what we're talking about today is a big thing. And what is that? Well, hopefully you new folks are still here, because we are going to talk about online game discourse. All right? Online gaming discourse is real. And what do I mean by that? Now, I don't mean oh my God, this sucks. I don't just mean all the Reddit groups that tell you to get good, or the Facebook groups that call you a tourist because you don't know how many chains Fulgrim was wearing when he beheaded Ferris Manus. I'm not talking about any of that stuff, all right? But what I am talking about is when you get into a new game, okay? Any new game, and this can be a barrier. If you say, I want to learn how to play a new game, and you go look for it online, you could find some rules verification. You could find maybe one or two people to answer your question. But what do you find most of the time? Warhammer people, help me out here. Think back to when you were new and you went online and it was, well, you can use that, but it's garbage. Or folks always talk about competitive play and how whatever you bought is garbage. And for the record, who was the new guy that was here? Let me wing 312. Eldar for life. Sweet. Love the Eldar, but there's really not a faction in 40K that I don't like. So there you go. Because they're all horrible. They're all terrible. Um, I mean, I'm Thousand Sons, Custodians, and Nids. So there you go. Um, Not Eldar, not yet. Maybe one day. But yeah, when it comes down to that, when it comes down to those particular things, um, a lot of folks go online and it's very, very, very difficult to find anything good about something that you're interested in online. And when I say good, I mean anything that speaks positively about what you like or what you want to learn. It's one of the reasons that we're here. All right. Um, every new game has something that folks can't wrap their head around, either from nomenclature to a specific game mechanic. Like, if you're new to the channel, welcome. All right. The older heads know that a couple of years ago when I first started learning Warhammer 40K, I was like, dude, this game is so freaking crunchy. Oh my God. And just the one dice chart was messing me up. The whole strength of the weapon versus toughness of the target. And it's like, yeah, it's a 4-up if it's even, but if it's more like I get it now. I can even explain it now if I were so inclined. But that took me a little while to get my head around. You know, and I was fortunately able to find some decent positive content on 40K, like Tabletop Tactics and Play on Tabletop. And well, Paul is Bad at Stuff came out after I started learning. But and I'm just talking about on game. I'm not talking lore. I'm not talking the meta, the tournament scene, or the most recent data slate, or point economy and all that stuff. But all these things are stuff that comes up when folks are new. You know, I ran into a bunch of WSs when Marvel Crisis Protocol at first come out. Why? Because I was on Facebook. That's why. And they trolled me, they followed me back, they did all the stuff that people who would have marched through Springfield, Ohio about a month ago generally do. I was mad. And I quit playing the game. I'm like, yeah, I'm not giving my money to a company that supports that. But at the same time, I realized this is a Facebook group and it's not representative of the company that produces the game. Okay? So when it comes to online discourse, that can be a huge battle. A huge battle. I'm literally live and people are freaking Facebook messaging me like crazy. But yeah, online discourse, when it comes to playing games, hang on, I'm live right now on Twitch, but I see the messages. Oh, wait, huh? And smiley face. Huh. There we go. So yeah, so when it comes down to that kind of stuff, how do you navigate your way through those things, And here's the thing. There are as many different ways to learn something new in being a gamer or in getting some of your gaming fixes in. Getting some of your gaming fixes in without having to slog through all of the garbage, okay? All of the, oh, you're playing that game? Well, you're terrible. I talk about a lot of the great sources that I found online when it comes to a lot of games. Again, when it comes to like Everything Games Workshop, Play on Tabletop, Tabletop Tactics, Tanya the War Mistress, all amazing resources in how to play. Matter of fact, the War Mistress, if you follow her on Instagram, actually does shorts on how to do particular things. Um, there was a channel called the Tabletop Teacher on YouTube that went over every rule of hero clicks. They dedicated a 6-minute vehicle to how this rule worked for the whole game. I love those guys, and I'll be doing about the same thing for all of the games. But there's a lot of content out there, and one of the things that I try and do, especially when I'm trying to learn a new game, especially when they're crunchy, is I'll watch a battle report um on a game right after I've read through the rule book. Like to get DC Multiverse miniature game, because I'm really into that right now because of their my mini factory campaign. I was finally able to print up all the minis that I couldn't buy because they're in Spain and their shipping sucks. Um I found Flick's Tabletop, and he does so many small games. I freaking love him, and his battle reports are 30 minutes long. But the way that he does it is he films the turn, and then he turns the camera off. He plays through the turn, then turns the camera back on, tells you what happened, and he explains what happened pretty well. And it's really informative, not very entertaining unless you already know how to do it. But that's how I learn. Okay. Now maybe some of you guys in the comments sections can leave me a comment on how you like to learn other um other than away, other than one-on-one sit down question and answer in a cave where no one's watching and no one can be embarrassed. Okay. Now, along with this stuff, online discourse can hit or can trigger gaming trauma. Okay. There are two things when it comes to being a gamer, that are reflexive of being just straight up human, guys. And those things are fear of embarrassment. Okay. That's one. Yeah. Fear of embarrassment, i.e., fear of looking stupid. All right. And again, most of you guys grew up at least in the 80s and 90s, if not after that, where not knowing something was a cardinal sin. I want you guys to know I see you. All right. And as a good teacher, I can tell you that whoever gave you crap for not knowing something was a terrible teacher. You weren't a terrible student. They just didn't understand how your mind worked, and they thought that shaming you was the best way for you to learn and remember. Okay, and this is coming from someone who was told to study for their entire public school career, but who was never taught how to study. you know, um, yeah, not all of us are Jedis, Neon. Relax, Scraps. Now, as you guys can see, I have a dog, and she's yappy. She's very, very yappy. So, as I was saying, a lot of folks, when it comes to learning new stuff, they were taught if you don't get it the first time, or if you don't already know it before, that's a reflection of your character. Or, I grew up in a time where we didn't understand learning disabilities, and neurodivergency at all. So, I grew up being called lazy and stuff like, ADD and autism, giving the hyperfixations. And so, growing up in a black house, I can tell you everything can be used as an insult. So the whole idea of, yeah, he's failing at that class because he ain't interested in it. I see how he acts with the stuff that he's interested in about. He just don't care enough to pass. I'm like, it's not that I don't care. Yes, I am uninterested. And powering through to learn something I'm not interested in is literally against how my brain is wired. Okay? Now, the best teachers, two of the best teachers I ever had, and I'm talking, I've got 3 undergraduate degrees, and I'm still talking about my junior high school teachers, who shall remain nameless because I don't want their names on the internet. But my junior high math teacher and my junior high science teacher, the ones who taught me how to teach, all right, these guys didn't go, you're not interested, just try harder. They said, let's make this interesting. Especially my science teacher. Oh, my science teacher. Again, I steal most of my teaching technique from him, you know. Because, you can teach your kids about friction and cold and the different states of matter. Or you could take them snowboarding and then, teach them that water has 3 states, that friction is reduced due to, due to separations of molecules causing things to go in a viscous state, and how the wax from the bottom of your skis or your snowboard is oil based, and since oil and water doesn't mix, they're always trying to escape each other because of something called hydrophobia. I mean, seriously, all of that stuff comes down, and I'm like, oh my god, this guy is awesome, and he took me skiing, and I'm a kid from the hood. I've never seen snow, because I'm from the hood in LA and it don't snow here. So when it comes down to that, one of the things that I try and do, especially when it comes to online discourse, is understand that the internet is terrible. Okay, the whole internet is just whole terrible. I mean, there's just because it's about engagement, and you get more engagement from anger than you do with positivity. So everything out there is you're wrong about, and the reason that what you love sucks. And you go, I'm going to turn on this video so I can disagree with it. So how do you go through the chaff? How do you get through that online discourse? And the answer is you don't. You just don't go online. Okay. You can go online and see if you can download the rules for free. But when you're looking through the rules and stuff like that, it's actually all right to say, join the Discord group from your friendly local gaming store. You're wrong with Jack Ryder would be wonderful for the DC universe. I've always been a Johnny Blaze guy. That's just me. Not saying that you're wrong, because you're wrong and I hate you. No. I'm not saying that at all. What I'm saying is you have your preference, I have mine. But I'm still waiting for a really good run of the Martian Manhunter, and you're waiting for one with Power Girl. So let's just hope they pull their heads out of their butt and give us some more good Wonder Woman, right? Right. Anyway, so when it comes down to doing the online discourse, understand that when you look up something online, you are going to find negative to positive ratios of about 214.145 to 1. And you're going to have to cycle through a whole lot of stuff if you are dedicated to figuring stuff out online. Since I don't like reading through threads, and I really don't, okay? It's one of the reasons I don't spend a whole lot of time on Reddit. I really don't. What I tend to do is literally I'll go to like ChatGPT and type in what my Google search would be so that ChatGPT can tell me, and I don't have to cycle through 1,000 ads on Google. All right. just to answer my question, you know, um, can Superman pick up, if Superman picks up a building in this game, how far can he throw it? You know, if the building hits something, do I have to allocate the damage? If someone is knocked into a car, does the car take damage? That kind of thing. And then from there, I can just go on, you know. But it's really difficult making time for gaming. And this is a big battle of modern gaming. And cycling through so many people saying that so many things suck. Now, one thing that you could do is join a Facebook group. Okay, join a Facebook group. I know everyone is saying go on Discord, but I'm having the same problem on Discord. But if you join a Facebook group and you check out the Facebook group, if it works, cool. If not, leave the group. It's not that critical. It really isn't that critical. You can just leave the group, you know? So yeah, so hopefully you guys got some good stuff. Now, I want to let you guys know, we have been working really hard, okay? Really hard. And I'm starting the campaign. It might be a Kickstarter. I'm not sure, okay? But we are in the final stages. Excuse me. Yeah, we are in the final stages, actually, of whoa, nope, that's not it. Okay. We're in the final stages of getting Flatpak Realms up and going. For you guys that don't know, Flatpak Realms is our collapsible and portable terrain system, where we've essentially created a terrain system where you can have buildings for games that are set outdoors, such as Crisis Protocol, DC Universe, Necromunda, Stargrave, Infinity, just so many different games. Carnivale is another one that's up there. And even HeroClix, guys, seriously. This terrain actually works for HeroClix as well, and I'm very proud of it. And with Flatpak Realms, you'll be able to populate a board up to 3 feet by 3 feet with one pack that packs away into a box that's 10 inches long by 6 inches by 5 inches. We are talking fitting on any bookshelf, okay? I am so excited for this. I've got one of the samples here. Here we go. We have one of the buildings. Pop, pop. And it comes out. It's cardboard terrain. It's pre-decorated. So literally, it's out of the box, set up, play. You can have your tabletop mostly set up with the buildings in about 5 minutes. And you can put it away in about 5 minutes. So I am really big on that stuff. And the whole box literally weighs less than 2 pounds. So it fits in a backpack and all of that jazz. I'm so proud of this stuff. I've been working at it for a very long time. And I'm finishing up the commercial, finishing up the script for the commercial and the shot list. And hopefully I'll go into production of that. And unfortunately, I'm going to have to sell a lot of units. So I'll be on the Discord server and in the Deckers on the Book stuff to get some of your guys' suggestions to see how I can sell 500 units this month. Because I really want to sell them. And again, I've got lots of different facings for modern buildings, sci-fi buildings, postmodern buildings to fit games in different periods. So I'm really proud. I'm genuinely excited about being able to put these games together and all of that stuff and doing some of the shots. And if you guys have any other questions about that kind of thing, well, that's simple. All you got to do is send me an email over at backinthedeck@gmail.com. That's BACKINTHEDECK@gmail.com. Or check out the Instagram at backinthedeck. That's BACKINTHEDECK. join the group Deckers on the Book. Again, y'all can always reach out. Honestly, this is going to be some really good stuff. I want to thank everybody for joining us today. You guys on YouTube, man, y'all are holding it down. Big thanks to Daryl holding it down from the forest on YouTube, along with Geeky Andre, Decantero, Neon Arlecchino, Xanathades, let's see, Team Blackout Drunk, let's see, Let Me Wink 312. All you guys, thank you so much for being here. We hope that you got some good information. We hope that you liked hanging out with us, and join us next time as we talk about something else pretty instrumental in a lot of the stuff about being gamers, playing games, and doing all that, and bringing in some new people, guys. All right, but if anybody tells you that you can't like this stuff because of the circumstances of your birth, be it race, religion, creed, gender identity, sexual orientation, disability, neurodivergency, or your budget, because we all know that the trailer park, wherever it is just walking distance from the hood, you can tell them to take whatever cart they're pulling on you and put it back in the deck. I'm Solar Gray, the Cinematic Sorcerer, saying thank you guys for joining us, and we will see you next time on the dark side of the room.